Okay, this tutorial is for the Illustrator Intro assignment. I'm just going to show you how to use the tools that are required to get this assignment done. Throughout this tutorial, I'm going to show you several tools that we use over here on the left-hand side of the tool panel. We're not going to use all of these tools, but I'm going to show you several of them. The first one we're going to start with today is the Type tool, which looks like the letter T. So select the Type tool, move your cursor to the middle of the artboard, which is that white page in the middle, and just click once. Type your name, and then we're going to start with the next tool, which is the Selection tool. So we'll pick the Selection tool, which is the black arrow. You'll notice that I get handles around the outside edges of my name. I can click and drag on any one of those handles to resize my name. Now if I want to change what it looks like, I can come up here to the Tool Options bar, which is the bar above the window, and click on next to the word character and change to a different font. I can change as many times as I want. I can resize it as often as I want. Just place it wherever I want. Now if you want to see a preview of the typeface or font that you're going to use, click on the word character and then click that pull down menu, and it will actually show you what the font looks like. So for purposes of this demonstration, I'm just going to pick something simple and clean, Century Gothic, resize it to fit top, and I'm just going to go ahead and leave that alone. Now I'm going to draw some shapes. So back over here on your tool panel, you come down to this item called the Rectangle tool. I want you to notice this little triangle in the bottom of it. That indicates that there are several tools lying underneath it. So to click and hold on that gives you this flyout menu here, and you can choose the rectangle, rounded rectangle, ellipse, polygon, or star tool. For this exercise or assignment, we are not going to use the flare tool. So go ahead and choose the rectangle tool and draw a rectangle by click and drag. Come back over and choose the rounded rectangle tool and draw a rounded rectangle by click and drag. Notice that the only difference between these two shapes is the radius on the corners of the rounded rectangle. Go ahead and choose the Ellipse tool, which is just a fancy name for an oval. Get an oval drawn. Click the Polygon tool and draw yourself a polygon. And then click the Star tool and draw yourself a star. See how that works? Okay. Now, drawing an object is easy. Now we just got to figure out how to color it. Using the Selection tool, which again is the black arrow, you can click on any of these objects and it becomes selected. This assignment requires that you select an object and change its color, and you do that down here on the bottom of the tool panel by these two boxes here. The top box is the fill box. The bottom one is the stroke, which is the outline of the shape. So watch what happens when I click on the stroke. See how it comes in front of the fill? That means it's active, and any color you select will apply to the stroke or outline of the object. Now if I click on fill, see how it comes in front? That's now the active color. So with the fill in front, I can come over and click my color panel and make sure that I have show options selected. I can pick any color I want in this little window, or I can adjust these sliders up here make any color I want. So your job then is to make all of these objects a different color. Let's go for a canary there. Okay, and then I also want you to put each object with a different stroke. So we're going to select the stroke, again clicking it to bring it to the front, and then make the stroke a different color. See on the right hand side, if we click this icon, it'll bring up the stroke options here. Again, if you click this little menu here, it'll bring up options that will allow you to make all kinds of changes to that stroke. I can change the weight or thickness of the stroke. I can change the color of the stroke here and add some weight. Add a blue one here. I can use the pull down menu to pick a preset. I'm going to add color to this one, maybe a light green, and put in a number, and that will give us a stroke. And let's pick one last color here. Now I have filled that requirement. Now I'm going to take these pieces, move them off the screen here, leaving my rectangle because I don't want to redraw that one. I want to show you some modifier keys. If I'm drawing a rounded rectangle, before I let go of the mouse, I can push the up arrow to increase the radius of the corners, or the down arrow to decrease it. Set those how I want. When I'm drawing an ellipse tool, another modifier you'll find is the shift key, and that's for any object except for the polygon and the star, but that draws an equilateral object. So if you're using the rectangle tool, it's a square. The rounded rectangle will give you a rounded square. The ellipse tool will give you the circle. If I'm drawing and I want to notice when I'm drawing this object, it draws from the corner and stretches out. If I'd like to draw from the center, I can hold down the Option key while I'm drawing, and notice the cursor changes and it draws from the center instead of the corner. That was the Option key. Now with the Polygon tool, just like with the rounded rectangle, we can use the up and down arrow keys. The up arrows put more sides, the down arrows put less sides. There's a triangle. And the same with the star tool, the up and down arrows change the number of points. And if you hold the Command key, it changes the length of the points. So those are our shapes. And then I'm just going to go ahead and color these real quick with an eyedropper so that we've met that requirement. I'm going to go ahead and delete those extra ones. This is a great example of what your finished first page should look like.